Xbox Series X, Project Lockhart, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to talk about today in the pause menu. I'm Cory. This is Chris.
Hello.
This device is causing a lot of debate, whether it should exist, whether it's going to hold back next gen, etc. So that's what we're going to talk about, whether or not we think it's a good idea, whether it's not a good idea. I know a lot about it, so just briefly I'm going to go over the specs of it. So it's rumored to be a lower powered Xbox console. It will play all of the same games as the Xbox Series X. The difference is that Series X is targeting 4K, while the Series S is going to be targeting 1080p. Now, exact same CPU, exact same SSD. So literally the only difference is that the GPU will be clocked lower because it's only aiming for 1080p. So this has caused a lot of debate because a lot of people are saying it's going to hold back next gen because it's only targeting 1080p. What happens when games that aren't running at 4K on Series X? Does that mean it's going to go below 1080p for the Series S? And why even have two consoles? Like, why even offer this lower price model if that's the case? So I'll go first and just say, like, I think a lot of the issues that people are coming up with is, I think it's a lot of hyperbole, honestly. Mm-hmm. The fact that it has the exact same CPU, it has an SSD, those are key factors for me in that, yeah, like, people are saying that it's going to cause a lot more work for developers. They're not wrong, but I don't think the optimization process is going to suddenly be unsurmountable because you've got one targeting 1080p and one targeting 4K. Developers on PC have been doing this for a while. So that argument doesn't hold a lot of weight for me. Water, I guess. So the argument that I do agree with, though, is that it seems weird to try to split your audience like this. You know, a lot of different electronics, like phones, for instance, they have lower price versions. A lot of times those lower price versions sell more. But to me, gaming is just a little bit different. I feel like having a lower powered machine that's sitting right next to the higher power one isn't going to... I guess I just don't see a huge market for it. Now, I understand that in the tech realm that a lower priced, like I said, spec machine in general usually sells more, but gaming is different. So that's just my brief take. But what do you think about it?
Well, this is completely abnormal to what we're used to. We're used to the other way around. You get your base console, and then you get your higher spec version later down the years, you know? Like, yeah, I disagree with this. I do not like this idea, you know? Like, give me the console that you want to give me. Don't give me a cheaper version. I mean, I shouldn't say a cheaper version, but a console that's going to really change the way that I maybe play or how things look, you know? And the big thing is how, like how big of a difference is this? Like, just to throw it out there, like, I don't really want to talk about price, but, like, if it's $100 cheaper, you know, is that a big difference on how I'm going to play, or is that going to make me choose the Lockhart over the new Xbox?
Yeah, and I know we said we're trying to keep price out of it, but actually now that I think about it, it makes a lot of sense to talk about it, just because I think that's the big factor. I mean, the rumored price is $499 for the Series X. If this comes in at $399, I don't get it. But $299, I think you might have an argument there.
A comparison that I can bring out is like, okay, let's say if the Nintendo Switch released with the Switch and the Switch Mini, you know, like, there was maybe significant price, because I think it was like around $100 difference, give or take there. But the capability is like, you know, you have one you can play on the TV and you have one that you cannot. But there's a big difference there.
The difference in that is that all the games are still going to be optimized the same way. Like, it's still the same game that you're putting in. Whereas this is going to require developers to optimize for two different things.
You sacrifice gameplay, I feel like.
Yeah, theoretically. It's tough, though. I mean, we're not developers. I think that's that's the other hard part, is that developers have come out and originally they had said that this is a bad idea, but then news is coming out that Microsoft has basically designed a system called profiling that will make it very easy for developers. But easy doesn't mean free. Easy does not mean that it does not require work. It just means it might not require a lot of work, but it still requires work.
And just think of the complication. So let's say someone who is not a gamer, like, are we buying separate discs? One that's going to be for the Lockhart and one that's going to be for the new Xbox?
That's the other rumor, is that there's no disc drive. It would be a strictly digital console. So that...
But the promoting, like, for someone who doesn't know, I'm like, so, okay, the Lockhart and the Xbox S Series both came out at the same time.
S and X,
like, what is what?
Mean, I think...
It's confusing.
It is, but at the same time, I think the price difference will make people ask questions. It's the same thing with any electronic, laptops, TVs, anything. Why get why get anything but an OLED? Like, well, because maybe you don't care that much. Like, yeah, you want to watch TV, but you don't need it to look like you're at the movie theater. Like, there's a difference between looking bad and looking good enough.
Okay.
A 1080p machine on a 1080p TV is going to look great. But with modern technology, you can even make a 1080p image look very good on a 4K, display. So I think a lot of people that are going into the store, maybe they don't want to spend like $500 for a console is a lot of money.
It is, but you're paying for what you're getting. Like
yeah.
you're getting that experience, you're getting that gameplay. I mean, these days you're getting the amazing look.
Right. But the theory is that all of those, the main difference will be 1080p versus 4K. That is it.
Okay.
And I think that's a key feature that a lot of people that are upset with it or think it's not possible, I don't buy it. The fact that it's going to be literally an RDNA 2 GPU, the same exact CPU, the same exact SSD, like that's not the same as releasing a game on the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X. You're talking about two completely different architectures, two completely different CPUs. Like, I think if that was the case, like with Halo Infinite, I think there's a lot of argument there to be had of this is a dumb idea. But the Lockhart, I'm not a fan of the idea, but I think it makes sense. But
for me, like, I think it just kind of depends also when they release. Like,
same time, supposedly.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Like that's going to be interesting, because it's just so far out of the pattern that we're used to, where you get your base and then later you can get, like, I guess the Lite model or the Pro model.
Right. I mean, they're basically doing the Pro, the PS4 did the PS4 and PS4 Pro, and Xbox did one and then One X. Like, they're basically doing that day one, saying, like, look, you've got the premium model, you've got the basic model, instead of doing it later. But it also asks questions like, will that mid-gen refresh that we got, this is the first time it's ever been a more powerful machine. So I'm wondering if they looked at those numbers and saw that, like, we did the One X, which had more power, but not a lot of people did, not a lot of people got it. The One S was still the best selling. So I don't know. Like, I think it makes sense, but it's just such new territory. It just feels weird.
It's essentially the Lite version, know. But I don't know. It's weird in the sense because, like, I feel like when I'm getting a console, like when they just released a base, I'm getting the top thing at that time. And now knowing that there's actually a cheaper version that could sacrifice maybe something, I'm just like, okay, I don't know. Like, that doesn't feel comfortable to me.
Right. But then I look at it from the other perspective of some people just want to play games. Like, you go up to them and talk about, you say, like, hey, you check out the new Halo with ray tracing, or look at you like, what the hell is what's ray tracing? Right. Like, they don't care. They're like, look, can this play Halo? Yeah, okay, I want that one.
So
like,
tell me this. It's going to be more powerful than the Xbox One, obviously, or the, or...
Correct. It's supposedly going to be around the same GPU capabilities as the One X in terms of raw throughput.
Okay.
But it's a new series, so it will support new things like ray tracing. But the CPU, different league. I mean, you're talking, the CPU is going to be the biggest upgrade this generation by far. You're massive difference. So the other thing is RAM is going to be another thing. It's got less RAM, but since you're only targeting 1080p, you don't need as much RAM. So, but yeah, so I don't know. I think it's new territory, but I think there's a case to be made that there is a consumer out there that just wants to play games. And when you when you group it with Game Pass, I don't know. I think you could probably entice a lot of people, especially if it does hit that $299 price point. Like, $299 that's a good price point, especially because, we've talked about this when we talk about, day one stuff. Game Pass with Halo, that's a good deal. Like, if you could buy a brand new console for $299, it's got ray tracing, it's got all the bells and whistles, $10 for Game Pass.
I'll say
that's a good deal.
The last thing I'll mention is that I have to see the side by side.
Sure.
I have to see Halo Infinite on the Lockhart and then on the new Xbox, S series, so forth. That is where I'm going to see the difference. Because, again, we are getting to the point where, the jump to 4K, there's that difference, but what is the big difference?
Right, and that's another thing is resolution is important, but we're getting to the point that stuff like ray tracing is coming into the fold. So image quality is not only resolution. So that's kind of a big thing. Like, that's the easiest way to tell a difference is usually a resolution bump. So, but we've done that already.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see. But let us know what you think in the comments about Series S, Lockhart, whatever you want to call it. Whether you're for it, against it, don't like it, etc. Let us know. Hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. And we will see you next time.